mainly because I've been kind of hunkered down during the winter. There's not a lot of opportunity for open air street evangelism. Everybody else inside, and so I'd basically be just preaching to parked cars mostly. And I figured the Lord would have me use my time a lot more wisely than that. Making this video today because it occurred to me that I might have steered you guys wrong a little bit unintentionally. In a previous video, I commented about prepping, and in that video it was talking about the signs of the last days and the return of Christ and stuff. And in that video I commented that Christians shouldn't be wasting their time prepping, and I didn't mean to make it sound like prepping was a bad thing, that there's no use for it at all. What I was trying to convey in that video was that we won't be here for the Great Tribulation. Now, the events leading up to the Great Tribulation, that's a different story. And we know that there are troubled times ahead. We've already seen 1 year of devastation by COVID-19. Now they're talking another new strand is working its way around the world. So we don't know what 2021 is going to bring for us. Rather, here we are in January, just starting the year. That's about the time that the first strain of COVID-19 was even first known about by the general public in 2020. So we don't know if we got more lockdowns, business closings, what the world has in store in the future, in the near future. And so what I'm saying is, I wasn't saying it's a waste of time to prepare and be prepared for your family and close friends for some kind of devastation. Now, most of us have lived pretty comfortably in America. We haven't seen real hard times. But I gotta say, I've heard a lot of stories. I grew up with my grandparents telling me stories about having been through the Great Depression, which I'm told lasted for almost 10 years. And my grandma used to tell me stories about they didn't have nothing to eat, and they just happened to live in a house that was adjacent a field that had wild cherries growing in it, and they basically picked and canned and lived on these wild cherries for a long time before they had any other food sources. And then they were able to attain an old milk cow and have milk, and apparently they had extra. And my grandfather tried taking the milk into town and selling it, and he got arrested for selling milk without a license or something crazy like that. So what I'm saying is, yes, as Christians we can expect to go through hard times. We can expect to go through persecution and suffering for the sake of Christ. And so it doesn't hurt to be prepared. It doesn't hurt to start stocking your pantry with some items. If the grid goes down, if we don't have water, if we don't have, you got to think about, you're going to need shelter, you're going to need heat, you're going to need water, you're going to need food, you're going to need supplies to get through the rough patches, and they could get pretty rough before we see the rapture happen. And so what I'm just trying to say is no, it's not bad to become a prepper. What I am saying is, if you're one of these types that just you just sold everything, moved out way out in the boonies somewhere away, you know, hundreds of miles away from people, and you're hunkering down for the big end of the world, that's not what Jesus called us to do. He called us to go into all the world and preach the gospel. So it's not a bad idea to have a plan of where you're to go when things really hit the fan, so to speak. I guess the favorite acronym is SHTF. You know, I'm not really a fan of what that stands for, but you know, things get bad, and they could. It's a good idea to have a plan. It's a good idea to have a place where you're going to go, where you're going to hunker down during the rough times. But also, don't neglect sharing the gospel. Don't neglect reaching the lost for Christ. And that's our primary purpose for being here. I mean, what's the purpose of, what's the use of trying to stay alive if you're not going to fulfill your purpose? I mean, I'd rather just go on home to be with the Lord if I'm not going to be productive, if my life is going to have no meaning. Well, here lies Brad Howard. He hunkered down and he survived the Great Depression of 2022, or, you know, whatever. I don't need that on my tombstone. I want to be able to, like Paul, at the end of my life, say, I've kept the faith, I've completed the course, I've done, you know, what God has called me to do. And that's all I'm trying to say here is yeah, go ahead and prepare for bad things to happen, but don't be obsessed with it. And I hope you all are doing well. Thank you for watching. Have a blessed day in Jesus.